If you stand in front of the mirror every evening, gently applying facial oil and hoping that deep wrinkles will gradually fade, you are not alone. Many women over 60 have been doing this for years. They've tried countless anti-wrinkle creams, collagen serums, even expensive treatments, but when they look again, their skin is drier, thinner, and sagging faster than before. Recently, something very interesting has been happening. More and more older women have begun talking about a very familiar, very simple oil. One that was even considered old-fashioned for a long time. Castor oil. Not because it promises miracles, but because it gives the skin a more comfortable, softer, and more stable feeling over time. So what is really going on? Why is something so simple being trusted again by women over 60? And does it truly have anything to do with collagen and wrinkles, as so many people are sharing? Before we go any further, take a few seconds to leave a comment below and tell me, which U.S. state are you watching this video from? I'd truly love to know where our community of women is located. And if you feel that gentle, honest content like this is truly needed for women over 60, please subscribe to the channel and help Woman Over 60 Secrets reach 100,000 subscribers. Every single subscription means so much. To understand why more and more women over 60 are returning to simple solutions like castor oil, we first need to face an important truth. Skin after 60 has completely changed on a biological level, and this change is not your fault. Nor is it because you haven't taken good enough care of your skin. After menopause, a woman's body experiences a significant drop in estrogen. This is not just a simple hormonal change. Estrogen plays a key role in maintaining skin thickness, water retention, and especially collagen activity. When estrogen declines, collagen production slows as well, much faster than anything we experienced in our 40s or 50s. At the same time, the skin begins to thin. Studies show that older women's skin can be up to 30% thinner than it was in midlife. This makes the skin more vulnerable, more prone to dryness, and slower to recover from even very mild irritation. Another important change that is often overlooked is the weakening of the skin's natural oil glands. When we are younger, the skin can produce a protective layer of oil that helps retain moisture and protect the surface. But after 60, this mechanism becomes far less efficient. The result is prolonged dryness, not temporary dryness, but chronic dryness. And when skin stays dry over time, wrinkles become more visible, deeper, and harder to improve. In addition, fibroblast cells, the cells responsible for producing collagen and elastin, slow down significantly. They no longer respond quickly to strong, stimulating signals like they once did. This means that aggressive anti-aging products, which were designed for younger skin, are not only less effective but can actually backfire on aging skin. That's why so many women over 60 feel discouraged. They care for their skin consistently and skip no steps, yet the results become less and less noticeable. The truth is, the problem is not your effort. The problem is that at this stage, your skin needs a completely different approach, one that is gentler, more stable, and focused on protection rather than attack. And that is the foundation for understanding why simple solutions that focus on hydration and supporting the skin barrier are beginning to show their true value at this stage of life. When skin begins to change after 60, many women react in a completely understandable way. They reach for stronger products, more expensive creams, serums with higher concentrations of active ingredients, tempting promises of fast wrinkle reduction, powerful collagen stimulation, or visible rejuvenation in just a few weeks. But it is precisely here that a vicious cycle often begins. Most anti-aging products on the market today are designed for younger skin. Retinol, exfoliating acids, high-concentration vitamin C, all of them rely on aggressively stimulating skin cells. In our 40s, the skin is still thick and resilient enough to tolerate these strong signals. After 60, however, the situation is entirely different. At this stage, the skin is thinner, the protective barrier is weaker, and recovery is much slower. When strong retinol is used, instead of renewal, the skin may become dry, irritated, flaky, or even develop prolonged low-grade inflammation. Acids, even at low concentrations, can still damage the skin barrier if used regularly. And once the barrier is compromised, wrinkles don't improve. They often become more pronounced due to continuous moisture loss. Another issue that is rarely discussed is product overload. Many older women apply too many skincare steps at once: serums, essences, ampules, treatment creams, hoping that more is better. But skin after 60 does not absorb products in that way. Instead of being nourished, the skin becomes stressed, imbalanced, and reactive. This does not mean that all anti-aging products are bad. The issue is that they are no longer suitable as the foundation of skincare at this stage of life. Aging skin does not need to be pushed to work harder. It needs to be protected, hydrated, and stabilized before any improvement can truly take place. This is why more and more women over 60 are beginning to look for simpler solutions, things that allow the skin to breathe, to calm down, rather than being constantly stimulated. And that is how names that once seemed outdated, like castor oil, are being mentioned again. Before we continue, I want to ask you a very simple question. If you've used strong anti-wrinkle products before and noticed that your skin became drier or more sensitive, please comment number 1. If you've never experienced this, comment number 0. Your answer may help many other women realize that they are not alone. Castor oil is not a new trend. In fact, it is one of the oldest plant oils ever used by humans, both for health and for beauty. Interestingly, for many decades, castor oil almost disappeared from modern cosmetic shelves, replaced by more complex products with more active ingredients and louder marketing. But as skin enters a new phase, a phase that requires stability and repair, castor oil has begun to reappear in conversations. The most distinctive feature of castor oil lies in its main component, ricinoleic acid, which makes up nearly 90% of its structure. This is a very rare fatty acid, not commonly found in most skincare oils. Ricinoleic acid has strong moisturizing properties, but not in the greasy way many people fear. Instead, it forms a thin protective layer that helps reduce transepidermal water loss, something aging skin struggles with significantly. Unlike some oils that evaporate easily or absorb quickly and then disappear, castor oil stays on the surface of the skin longer. For younger skin, this characteristic may feel too heavy. But for older skin, which lacks natural oils and tends toward chronic dryness, this becomes a meaningful advantage. The skin remains hydrated for longer periods, especially overnight, the time when skin needs recovery the most. Another reason castor oil is gaining renewed attention among women over 60 is its simplicity. Pure castor oil typically contains no fragrance, no alcohol, and no complex preservatives. This greatly reduces the risk of irritation for skin that has become more sensitive with age. When the skin no longer has to defend itself against too many unfamiliar ingredients, it has a chance to return to a more natural balance. In addition, castor oil does not work through aggressive stimulation. It does not force the skin to regenerate faster, does not cause peeling, and does not create a tingling sensation. Instead, it supports the skin barrier, the first line of defense that protects the skin from moisture loss, dryness, and low-grade inflammation. For these reasons, castor oil is not a one-size-fits-all solution for every age. But for women over 60, when the goal of skincare is no longer rapid transformation, but maintaining comfort, stability, and minimizing long-term damage, castor oil begins to show why it still holds value, even after all these years. At this point, a very natural question may be forming in your mind. If castor oil doesn't strongly stimulate the skin, doesn't cause peeling, and doesn't contain standout anti-aging actives, then why do so many people say it helps improve collagen? This is a completely reasonable question, and it's also the reason many women over 60 feel confused. The truth is, castor oil does not directly create new collagen in the way advertisements often make us believe. It doesn't wake up collagen instantly, and it doesn't fill wrinkles in just a few weeks. But what truly matters lies elsewhere in the environment where collagen exists within the skin. Collagen is produced by cells called fibroblasts. These cells are extremely sensitive to the condition of the skin. When the skin is constantly dry, experiencing prolonged low-grade inflammation or has a damaged protective barrier, fibroblasts slow down. They withdraw, become less active, and barely respond to regenerative signals. This is why many women use all kinds of collagen serums and still see little visible improvement. Castor oil does not make fibroblasts work harder, but it does something else, much more quietly. It helps keep the environment around skin cells more stable. When the skin is consistently hydrated, not losing moisture night after night, and not irritated by too many active ingredients, low-grade inflammation begins to decrease. And when the skin becomes calmer, fibroblasts finally have the opportunity to function according to their natural biological rhythm. Simply put, castor oil does not force the skin to become younger. It removes the barriers that prevent the skin from repairing itself. For women over 60, this represents a very important shift in skincare approach. It's no longer, what more do I need to do to my skin, but rather, what do I need to stop doing that's no longer appropriate for my skin? That's why many women, after using castor oil for a period of time, begin to notice that their skin feels softer, less tight, and that fine lines appear gentler. Not because collagen suddenly increases, but because the skin is no longer trapped in a state of chronic dehydration and stress. And that is the necessary foundation for any improvement to take place. Before we move on to the next part, I would truly love to hear from you. What worries you most about your skin after 60? Is it deeper wrinkles year after year? Is skin becoming drier no matter how much you moisturize? Or is it the feeling that your skin is thinner, weaker, and more easily irritated? Please leave a comment and share your concern. Many other women are experiencing the very same things, and your story may help them realize they are not alone. When women over 60 begin using castor oil in an appropriate way, the first thing they usually notice is not that wrinkles disappear, but that the way their skin feels begins to change. The skin feels softer to the touch, less tight in the morning, and the face looks more at ease, even when the wrinkles are still there. There is a very clear biological explanation for this. When skin is chronically dry, skin cells shrink, making wrinkles look deeper and more pronounced. Simply restoring stable moisture levels can make fine lines appear softer and less sharp. This is not a visual illusion, it is a natural physical response of the skin when it is properly hydrated. Castor oil helps reduce water loss through the skin, especially overnight. For older women, nighttime is when the skin loses moisture most easily because the protective barrier has weakened. When moisture is consistently retained, the skin no longer has to endure ongoing dryness. As a result, the skin becomes less stressed, less irritated, and discomfort gradually fades over time. Another change that is often mentioned is sleep quality. Many women notice that when their facial skin is no longer dry or tight, they sleep more deeply and wake up less often during the night. Better sleep, in turn, supports the skin's natural repair process. This creates a positive cycle, even though it unfolds very quietly. Most importantly, this improvement is not sudden. It happens slowly, little by little. The skin does not become younger in a few weeks, but it becomes more stable, easier to care for, and less reactive to the environment. For skin after 60, that is the most valuable foundation for maintaining a healthy appearance over time. In this context, castor oil is not a miracle solution. It is simply a tool that helps the skin return to a state of balance where softness, comfort, and stability become the top priorities. Although castor oil can offer many benefits for aging skin, in reality, many women do not achieve the results they hope for, not because castor oil is not suitable, but because the way it is used does not match the needs of skin after 60. At this age, even a small change in routine can make a very big difference. The first mistake is using pure castor oil in excessive amounts. Castor oil has a thick texture and high adhesion. When applied in a heavy layer, especially on the face, it can feel heavy, occlusive, and uncomfortable. For younger skin, where oil glands are still active, this may be somewhat balanced. But for skin after 60, where the skin barrier is already weakened Too thick a layer of oil can make the skin feel smothered and may even trigger negative reactions. Instead of improving hydration, the skin can become less breathable and more sensitive. The second mistake is applying castor oil to completely dry skin. When the skin is already dehydrated from within, oil simply sits on the surface without truly improving water loss. This is like coating a cracked, dry surface with wax. It may look covered, but the underlying condition does not change. For older women, the skin needs help retaining moisture first, and only then can oil effectively seal it in. Skipping this step greatly limits the benefits of castor oil. The third mistake, and perhaps the most subtle one, is a lack of patience and consistency. Many women begin using castor oil with high hopes, but after a few days or a week without obvious changes, they give up. Skin after 60 does not respond quickly. Cell repair is slow, collagen renewal is slow, and any improvement takes time. Inconsistent use prevents the skin from ever reaching the stable state it needs to recover. Another mistake that often accompanies these three is unrealistic expectations. When castor oil is viewed as an anti-wrinkle solution, many people expect wrinkles to disappear, but castor oil does not work that way. It does not erase wrinkles. It helps the skin become less damaged day by day. When expectations are too high, disappointment comes quickly, even when the skin is actually becoming more comfortable over time. Understanding these mistakes is an important step, because when castor oil is used in its proper role, not as a miracle beauty product, but as part of a gentle skincare routine, aging skin finally has the chance to return to a more balanced and stable state over time. Once these common mistakes are clear, the most important thing is not to look for new products, but to adjust how castor oil is used to suit skin that has entered a different phase of life. For women over 60, castor oil only truly shows its value when it is part of a gentle, consistent skincare routine. The first principle is less, but consistently. Castor oil does not need to be used in large amounts. Just a very small quantity is enough to create a protective layer that helps reduce moisture loss. Using too much can make the skin feel heavy and uncomfortable. For aging skin, comfort is far more important than the idea of applying more just to be safe. The second principle is that the skin needs moisture before oil is applied. Castor oil does not add water to the skin, it helps retain it. So if the skin is completely dry, its effectiveness is significantly reduced. Skin after 60 responds much better when oil is applied to slightly damp skin, especially in the evening, when the skin enters its natural repair phase. The third principle is gentle movement. Aging skin cannot tolerate harsh rubbing. Applying castor oil should involve slow, light motions, focusing more on relaxation than on trying to massage deeply. When the skin is not stretched or subjected to excessive friction, the risk of irritation is greatly reduced. Finally, castor oil should not be treated as a standalone solution. It works best as part of a minimalist skincare routine: fewer products, fewer changes, and consistent daily use. For skin after 60, stability matters more than any new ingredient. What's important to remember is that castor oil does not transform the skin after just a few uses. Its value lies in helping the skin experience less damage over time. When the skin no longer has to constantly battle chronic dryness and repeated irritation, it finally has the chance to maintain long-term softness and comfort. When we reach 60 and beyond, skincare is no longer about racing against time. It's no longer an effort to return to a younger version of ourselves, but a way of learning to live peacefully with the body that has accompanied us throughout our lives. Castor oil, in this context, is not a promise of rejuvenation. It doesn't erase every wrinkle, nor does it transform the face in a short period of time. But it represents a different approach, slower, gentler, and kinder to skin that has gone through many years of change. When the skin is kept consistently moisturized, less irritated, and no longer under pressure from too many harsh products, a sense of comfort returns. And sometimes, that feeling is what matters most. Skin that isn't perfect, but feels comfortable, soft, and healthy, can make each day feel lighter and more at ease. Skincare after 60 is not about trying to fix what time has taken away. It is a choice to care for, preserve, and respect our bodies at this stage of life. And when we do that, natural beauty comes from a sense of calm, not from the constant effort to change. At this point, I hope this video has helped you see skin after 60 in a gentler and more realistic way. Not with the pressure to transform, but with understanding and respect for what the body is going through. When we care for our skin with patience and kindness, the result is sometimes not looking younger, but feeling more comfortable each day. If you found today's sharing helpful, please press like to support the channel. Every like helps gentle, honest content about skin and health for older women reach more people. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to Woman Over 60 Secrets to continue this journey with me in future videos, where we talk about skin, health, and quality of life after 60, calmly and sincerely. Thank you for taking the time to listen.